Hello, we're back for another MacDesk Floor Report here from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. I'm Rebecca Darst from the Market Access Center right under the Bell Podium, where it's been a banner day for IPOs today. Fully 5 companies have brought their shares to the big board today. American Residential Properties, ticker ARPI, PennyMac Financial Services, ticker PFSI, Emerge Energy Services, ticker EMES, Quintiles Transnational, that's a big Q, and Cyan Inc., CYAN, are the new additions to the NYSE family today, with trading generally higher in the day's new issues. Looking at the broader market, we are trading about 27 points higher in the Dow, but less than 1 point higher in the S&P. Utilities, telecom, and financials are among the laggards today, and we're seeing a lift in volatility. The VIX is up more than 3% today, reading just above the 13 level. Let's take a look at the action in global markets overnight. Asian markets closed mostly lower after a hotter than expected CPI number from China. News flow elsewhere in the Pacific Rim was mixed. The Bank of Korea let loose with a surprise rate cut of 25 basis points to 2.5%. Market was not looking for another cut today. This led South Korea's Kospi index higher. Tokyo stocks closed lower for the first time in 3 sessions, partly on speculation that its exporters will be less competitive relative to Korea, partly in response to a slight miss in its leading index this morning, and partly on cautious guidance from the likes of Toyota. The China CPI number put a damper on early trading action in Europe. Several regional markets, specifically in Scandinavia, along with Austria and Switzerland, were closed for the Ascension Day holiday today. Elsewhere, the Bank of England kept its benchmark interest rate steady, while the ECB released its monthly report, reiterating downside risk to the European economic recovery due, among other reasons, to slack demand. Global growth-exposed names, particularly those in Germany, were weaker as a result. Here in the New York pre-market, we arrived to a slightly lower open indicated by the futures, with a better-than-expected read on weekly jobless claims having only very modest impact. This morning's data point showed a decrease of 4,000 new claims to 323,000 last week, marking a return to pre-recession lows. Again, subdued price action is the order of the day today, but there is a bid for option protection as evidenced by that higher reading in the VIX. Heading into the final trading day of the week, we will finish things off with some trade balance data from the UK, April unemployment data from Canada, and the US Treasury will release its April budget statement tomorrow afternoon as well. So let's take a look at the action moving markets next week. On Monday, we've got April business sentiment from the Bank of France, along with advanced retail sales and March business inventories here in the US, and a light slate of earnings from Magnum Hunter Resources and Northern Tier Energy. On Tuesday, we'll kick things off with an overnight release of Japan's April domestic CGPI, March loans and discounts, and April machine tool orders. Germany will release its April CPI and the widely followed May ZEW sentiment index. We've got March industrial production numbers from the Eurozone, and here in the US, April's NFIB Small Business Optimism Index and April import prices. Earnings will be released by Agilent, Taminco, and Eagle Materials. It's a heavy week of data next Wednesday, with Japan set to release April consumer confidence, along with second reads on Q1 GDP from France, Germany, and the Eurozone. The UK will release a raft of April job market data. Canada will release April existing home sales, and here in the US, we've got May Empire State Manufacturing, April PPI, tick flows for March, April capacity utilization and industrial production, and the May NAHB Housing Market Index, along with earnings from Deere, Macy's, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Cisco. On Thursday, we'll get Japan's Q1 GDP reading, March industrial production, and April Tokyo condo sales. France will release some first quarter jobs data, while across the Eurozone, we'll get a read on April consumer prices and the March trade balance. The US will release April inflation, April housing starts and permits, the May Philly Fed manufacturing index, and weekly jobless claims. Several leading retailers will report Q1 earnings that day, notably Kohl's, Nordstrom, Chico's, and Walmart. And finally, we'll end the week with Q1 housing loans and machine orders from Canada will release April CPI and March wholesale sales, while U.S. data is limited to May University of Michigan confidence and April leading indicators. A light day of earnings is in store, limited to Gleacher & Company and Raptor Pharmaceutical, to name just a couple. We'll be following all the market action as it unfolds here on the floor. Until next week, I'm Rebecca Darst at the New York Stock Exchange.